in this current hellscape that we're living in, of like the most millennial hellscape where we're all just sat in our own houses feeling anxious about looking at our phones, which Arnold Schwarzenegger would you want in this post-apocalyptic setting?
Oh,
Which, like, of all of his characters, who would you want to support you through the current self-isolation quarantine?
um,
Which was the funniest, Arnie? I reckon you want the funniest one.
I was going to say, wasn't the one from Twins, wasn't he a geneticist? I feel like he's the one you want.
I can't remember. Yeah, I just try to think whichever one was funniest, because you want some laughter in your life, don't you? If you're
Yeah,
stuck
the
in
one from
house.
Last Action Hero, maybe. He was pretty. He's a funny guy.
I think Running Man, he was pretty funny in that. I'd go Running Man, Arnie.
Running Man Arnie, yeah. Oh God.
Jingle all the way, Arnie.
Wait, why not? Why not?
What? But that Jingle All the Way, Arnie, is like a different level of mania. So like I've chosen an intelligent, kind of reserved Arnie to kind of sit with me. You've picked Running Man Arnie, who is a manic, kind of energetic Arnie, and then you've picked like this genuinely on the edge of insanity Arnie in Jingle All the Way. Like we're all dealing with this very different ways, boys. That's all I'm saying.
He's a long shot plunger. He's Steve Portenegger. He's committed to ensuring every customer gets the sauerkraut they paid for. He's Rob Schwarzenegger. And I knew I should have locked up that chariot while I went for that hot dog. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. Gary Sweaty Joggers. And tonight, All the Arnies brings you part 3 of Hercules in New York.
You have struck Hercules.
Come off that rap. You keep that up and you're gonna have to be taken away. What kind of chicken fat have you got in your head anyway?
I'm Hercules.
So you're Hercules, I'm Rod Nelson. Now what? Outside?
I can do it just as well in here.
Oh, you put him down! Really, you're crazy!
Hey, hi!
Put him down!
Hi!
Allow me to break the ice.
Drop dead!
I don't do requests. I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
Prime laps with your 4 wins.
Enough talk.
Don't bullshit me. Bullshit. 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 Bullshit.
Bullshit!
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.
The competition's being rigged up between Monstro and Hercules. Monstro reckons he can beat him, and there's $100,000 prize. Or $100,000 of Monstro's money. He's putting up against Hercules, that he's going to win this. So they meet up in the television studio, and I think the sound guy on this was loving this particular scene, because it was the only time he was allowed to get his boom mic anywhere near the actors. So he had really crisp, clear audio on it. It was lovely.
Yeah.
And then they go on.
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into this scene, didn't they?
Yes.
It goes back to what we were saying though, where it clearly was just like it was only a corner of the world's smallest studio, like for filming a TV thing. It was a corner of a room, and I still stand by it. I think they just had one room in a hotel hired out for a week, and they just put blue paper up in the corner, and so the sound guy's probably tightened up in the bathroom trying to lean over someone's head.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. There's a lot of canned like cheering and stuff from the audience as well, isn't there? It's pretty obvious. Because the only people watching it are those gangsters, and Pretzy and those lads.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, shit! And we missed out. Rather we didn't talk about. I don't know if we gave it enough credence. The one and only actual cinematic, like, serious moment where Pretzy's like, "Well, I don't want to give up Herc," and then like gets paid off and faces no consequences for it whatsoever. It's totally fine. He gets 10 grand. He worries about it for about 5 minutes. Has one shot of whiskey. After that, never mentioned.
Just hits the bottle, doesn't he? And that's that.
When you're at the bottom, how much further can you fall? What could you have done to Pretzy to punish him even further?
If I looked anything like him, I would probably be drinking every day.
That might be why he looks that way. I thought he looked a lot like the turtle in like the old Disney cartoons, like Robin Hood.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh my god. Or he looks like the turtle from Kung Fu Panda mixed with Steve Buscemi.
He does a bit.
He looks like if someone left Steve Buscemi in the oven for too long. It just desiccated him. It's fine. He's dead. He can't get me.
No, only as a spirit.
Yeah, this scene goes on way too long. There's a lot of focus on it, isn't it? Because it's how they tried to sell the film, I think, didn't they, with Mr. Universe or whatever, all the weightlifting and that, all the bodybuilding. So they've got to focus on this. There's a lot of like close-up pec shots and things, aren't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're close in on Monstro as well. I'm just curious, was Monstro played by a famous bodybuilder as well? Like, were we supposed to know who he was, or was it just Arnie?
He was Mr. New York at the time of filming. He'd a number of records, held a number of titles. I think he might have been Mr. World as well.
Mr. New York versus Mr. Universe is a bit of a different category there, isn't it? Mr. New York and Mr. Universe. One is literally everything that's ever existed in all of time and space, and the other one is like a city in United States of America.
What better way to sum up Arnold
You'd be a little bit camera shy if you were Mr. New York. Well, that's true.
So they do this big lift, and we were discussing before that we thought that people maybe were a little, what's the best way to put it, underconfident in Monstro's abilities. And whenever you see Monstro beside Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, he seems even bigger than Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I agree with that, man. I think he looks way bigger.
Yeah. He's at least a good match, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't understand why even when Arnie loses his powers, he still can't lift the same weight as Monstro. Because like he's still a pretty bloody big bloke, isn't he?
Well, it's because he's been roofied, so he's probably still dealing with the after effects of being raped by the weird girl after he got roofied. Well, I don't like. You could just. It's magic, isn't it? You could just.
Yeah.
It's just plot. It's welcome to the plot lifting contest. Like, this is where we are. It's like he has to fail. He has to fail somehow. So a woman told a really well-dressed man by a gate to poison him, and then when she did poison him, he didn't realise he was poisoned until the fifth lift of the weight, just so he could get to a chase scene. That's effectively what the plot was in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, got to get that chase in.
Oh, that chase scene.
Have a reason to set that
magnificent.
Oh, it was good.
It's
listening back to some of the earlier pods. Steve described Arnie's running like a toddler learning to walk, and goddamn, it's so apt.
Yeah, he's massive. He can barely put one foot in front of the other.
At £1,000, they lift their 500, 750, £1,000. £1,000 is when Arnie breaks. £1,000, that's too much for him. He reacts to it like in a real godlike way by stamping his foot and throwing his fist, going, no! Throwing his fist down the ground like, shucks! I really thought I could have lifted that.
Yeah, but he's only a demigod.
That's why.
Yeah, he has a real hissy fit, doesn't he? Like, I thought it was believable performance. I thought it was believable when he drops that and he looks really pissed off.
Yeah.
He's probably angry the director told him he wasn't allowed to lift it.
Yeah.
He's like, but I will look weak.
Oh, can I lift it off camera? Yeah, take it back to your trailer. Yeah.
Just lifting it as he's running.
So about this point, he's realised that his powers are gone. And she said, I don't know. I could not lift it. My strength, it is all gone.
I don't know.
And Pretzy's going, what happened? What happened? Hang on a second.
He's
Pretzy,
like a kid having a tantrum, isn't he? It's
£1,000.
brilliant.
Yeah, he's having it. But just before we leave the recording studio here, the filming studio of the show, I think the professor's onto another little swindle. He's up in the recording booth. I think he's pretending once again to be like, I'm a director, so I'll direct all these cameras. You keep that on. He's just being another fraud. I just can't give him any leeway. I'm with this professor the way that Rob is with Pretzy.
Well, yeah, it's an excellent point as why. Well, like, I get why Pretzy's there if he's kind of like his keeper, like he's like the old craggly man from Rocky. But like, why is the professor there? What purpose does he say? I mean, his girlfriend, I kind of get being there. I guess if they are like girlfriend and boyfriend at this time, but I think it's just to add the threat of other people being involved. Like,
yeah, it's just to have more people who can be chased.
Again, I still think he was written in as a major part, and they just. I think if you take out the bodybuilding scene, keep it. Take out the bodybuilding scene, take out the the wrestling stuff, maybe, and then like have some other different plot centered around the professor, and it makes sense when they just kind of go, right, Arnie's in it, so add bodybuilding and wrestling because we want to see Peck, we want to see all of his Peck, like, and then they've just got this character now, and they're like, well, we've kind of paid him, so. He has to just be there now. Smoking whatever's in his pipe. Constantly being a fraud.
Pretzy's got a good line as well, just before they start lifting, just as Arnie's going in, he says something like, "Go on then, Herc, and remember what I told you," something like that, or "Remember what I taught you," something like that. Like, what the hell did Pretzy teach Arnie about lifting weights?
Maybe
Make sure you lift them
maybe
all.
That's
that
what,
heavy one,
yeah.
Just lift it right over your head.
Maybe that's why Pretzy was so upset at him. He's going, "What happened? What happened?" Because Pretzy lifts 1,000 pound every day.
I told you to lift that bloody weight.
Didn't I tell you to bend your knees? Bend your fucking knees, Hercules.
Geez, buddy, I told you your form's just awful.
The secret to the clean joint.
Gotta keep your back straight, quite.
No, he's probably just annoyed about the fact that, like, he's fucking lost out on 10 grand, like, because they were just paying him money to say, well, I don't know, he's getting paid regardless. Motherfucker's just on this, like, absolute, like, his golden goose continues to give him money, and by Hercules losing, it makes him seem right in the gangsters' eyes, because then the gangsters say, well, listen up, was that not what they were trying to do? I can't remember. Were they trying to, like, when they paid him off?
I don't know.
Was it not to, like, make him so Herc loses?
Yeah.
Or wins?
I
don't know.
Remember, I have no idea. I thought
something like that.
Oh no, wait! It was to be his manager. They were like, "I'm gonna be his manager now." See, and then he was like, "Okay," but he's still there.
Yeah, I still can't get over 5-1. 5-1's incredible, lads. Well, we're about to find out what happens when you lose money. When you lose a bet, is that you chase after guys.
Yeah,
and they have Arnold Schwarzenegger and Pretzy have split. Didn't even take their clothes. Apparently, there's no time for clothes. So they've split, and the guys, the gangsters, run into the change room. They go, "His duds is still here. He ain't coming back," which is quite an assumption to make. Like, and then get the boys. Well, I think that I have a tip for helping the gangsters speed up in their pursuit, which is that whenever you have an idea, don't stop to talk about it for a while. They went, "That door's open. Yeah. He must have gone out that door." What do you think? What do you think, Lips and fucking Nitro? It's a very dynamic name for a guy who looks like that. Yeah, Lips and Nitro, what do you think? I don't know. Let's think about this instead of just running after. But so they've all bolted out the door. The professor is acting as a decoy, once again being deceptive as fuck. So he's acting as a decoy and driving away in one direction.
He's a wily old bastard.
And the gangsters come out with Lips and Nitro, and they're going to go get the boys. And they've come out and they've jumped into their car, and they follow the professor's car, which is much nicer than the car these gangsters are driving. And maybe if they keep losing money like that, that's why they're driving.
They're driving like the family truckster from Vacation or something.
Yeah, that's why they now have to chase after a member of, like, faculty. Like, it's not really a gangster's forte, is it?
Oh God, he's gone into the university car park. That's permit parking only.
Do you know how much a permit costs?
That's for staff. It's PhD students only.
Well, we'll just wait here until he comes out in 9 to 5 hours, maybe.
But now we've got Herc's seen this, and he's worried about everybody's safety. So he makes pursuit. He chases them down in a chariot. I'm not sure what the chariot was prior to that, what they were using it for. But...
Yeah, I love that.
Well,
it's a bloke in like a caveman costume or something.
Yeah.
Buying a hot dog.
Yeah,
He's parked up his chariot to get his hot dog, and it gets stolen by her.
Oh yeah, then yes, because that's the best running joke.
Yeah, it's great.
Because
the fella he's running after his chariot, and the hot dog seller's running after him to give him his sauerkraut.
It's so Python. I love
it. It's mental. It's brilliant.
It is so good. I don't know about either you boys, but I've been in New York recently, and I have to say, you can't move for chariots. Like, they're everywhere. It is chock-a-block with chariots. It's non-stop. You just walk around a corner, you go yellow cab, chariot. Occasionally, you just see like a member of like a Roman centurion party with his fucking shield just walking down. They're just everywhere, man.
They are now. They are now after.
You're on the
trend.
subway and a guy's gladius is just stabbing into your side, and you're just like, Jesus fucking Christ! There's so many Romans in this town.
If you can't move for Romans, you can't move for Greek gods, and you can't
move for people just starting fights, like constantly just looking for people to start fights with. It's all we've learned from New York is just aggressive people and Romans. That's all it is.
So they make chase. Also, again, Pretzy's eyesight lets him down once again here. He says, "We must take the chariot." He went, "What chariot?" It's like 5 feet from him. 5 feet. Oh, it's a chariot.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a really big wheelbarrow. Oh, fuck. You're right, it's a chariot. The one with the horses and all at the front. Yeah, that all makes sense. Yeah. So they get in and they start.
Or maybe if he hopes that if he just like ignores the chariot, Herc will not see it either. Maybe it's like his eyesight is based on movement, like a T-Rex. He's like, "We did the chariot." It's like, there's no chariot there.
Oh, maybe.
Please, can we take a car?
I love that chariot scene. It's amazing.
It is really good.
It's a bit sort of shaky though, a bit quick and a bit choppy. It feels like they didn't have any permits to film. You know, they just sort of like, "Arnie, get on this chariot. Bloody hoon it down the street as fast as you can. We'll get all the shots we can and all the footage we can."
I really hope that's true.
Because
like, if it is true as well, imagine if you didn't understand the language, you didn't understand what was happening. You're on a busy New York street, and then you are Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you just get put on a chariot, and they just go, and they do like the motion of like the whipping of the chains, and just do that. And a man with a
whipping,
hot dog.
Yeah. Again, it looks like, isn't there that bit Arnie's whipping? That fella in the car. It looks like he's putting a lot of effort into that again, like the bear bashing scene before he kicked the shit out of that bear. He's not pulling any punches, is he?
He's just battering all around him.
Bear bashing sounds like some kind of euphemism for something awful. Like,
this is another bit where I was going. I put too much serious thought into this film. I was sitting watching that guy leaning out the window as Arnie was whipping him. I was going, what does that guy hope to achieve? If he grabs hold of Arnie, what's he going to do? Pull him into the car, in the moving car? Is he just going to grab the chariot? Maybe if it was a forklift, he could have grabbed it and just held it there. Fine chariot, but where's the horses?
that is a fair point. Like,
I don't know. Yeah.
If I was looking out a window and I was getting chased by a fucking 6'2" like topless man on a chariot, I wouldn't hop my head out to try and get closer to him.
Yeah, is he trying to pull the chariot over? But is it the same guy? Is this before? There's a guy who gets out of the family truckster that they're all trying to escape in, climbs up the hill or something, and then jumps. Does he try to jump onto Arnie or something?
Good. That's such a good scene.
Because it's amazing.
It implies that they know where they're going, like they're on some kind of racetrack.
Yeah.
It's like toddler logic in the park. Like, it's like,
yeah.
I'll go around this way. We can't leave this field. Mum said not to. Like, I'll go over there.
Oh, holy shit! They really tore up Central Park as well. Just the tires were just tearing at the bits. Fucking hell, that's a civic amenity. So what you were saying, Steve, about I don't think they had permits to film that chariot. I think the same might have been true for Central Park. He's couldn't have seen him say, just have a race across the grass.
Just get in any car, whatever. Like, just fucking run it at a horse. We don't care. Just see what happens. I'm sure the horses are notoriously fine with being startled, so it'll be fine. Just drive the car in it.
So the race comes to an.
God, I love this scene.
the race the chase comes to an end. The Hercules jumps into the car, driven by the professor. Because once the chariot the wheels have fallen off the chariot, for reasons, and I'm not sure what happens to the gangsters here. They just kind of disappear, or maybe just whatever. The guy gets a sauerkraut. The guy who owns the chariot gets a sauerkraut. We were all very happy about
gets his sauerkraut.
In the first ever,
he's got no wheels on his chariot, but he's got his sauerkraut on his.
I would say this is the first ever time I would never have thought before you maybe, like you suggested, doing the podcast and watching Hercules in New York again. I never would have thought that I would have been genuinely laughing at a close-up of a hot dog. And yet I was there. I was there.
It's got that great little bit of music as well, hasn't it?
They built it up really so well.
Yeah.
without me even knowing what was going to be the payoff, without knowing what it was, and then having it there, I genuinely laughed, and I was like, God, that's quality. It is genuinely quality. That
I didn't realise that they were making the
really
joke
good.
at the time. I was kind of sitting there being all cynical, going, "Holy fuck, that hot dog vendor's keen to get that sauerkraut." Oh, it's the whole joke. Fucking hell. But yeah.
Oh, that's the.
So we're back into the silliness again. We keep being. The audience keeps being thrown out of the silliness and then caught again, like it's on a trampoline or just being thrown in the air, just over and over again. This is a silly film. No, it's a little bit more serious than a silly film, but still not serious. No, it's a really silly film.
There is some genuine peril from time to time, and then you get like the sauerkraut hot dogs shot.
I don't know. I think I have to agree with you, Gary. Like I think the first podcast you said, where it's like it was supposed to be a silly, campy film, but I think that when they were doing the bits in between the silliness, their pacing was just so wrong that it made it boring. So then you had to do those massive like spinning arounds from like boring to happy, rather than just being like okay, so Elf is probably a good example of what this film probably wanted to be, like, because it's like that total fish out of water story. He's in New York. It's very similar. There's Central Park scenes. He's a mythical creature. It's very similar, and like Elf is serious in the times when it's serious, it's still silly. Whereas, like, when the times when this is serious, it's like you're reading a 15-year-old fan fiction about what they think Greek was like Greece was like back in the olden days with Nemesis and Pluto and Zeus, and it's just dull.
Yeah, and all those Roman gods as well.
Yeah. Just mixing it all up. They don't fucking have a clue. They don't know. The more I think about it, the more I think Elf is actually probably like. I'm standing by it. I think Elf is what Hercules in New York wanted to be. Will Ferrell, 6'2". They do have a chase scene in Central Park. I'm telling you.
Hey, you're right.
Who wrote
They've
Elf?
completely ripped off Hercules in New York. Do you reckon maybe Hercules was the favourite film of the guy who made Elf?
Yeah, probably. I think he probably probably looked at it and went, "Missed opportunity. This is. I'm going to rewrite this.
Yeah. I'm going to do this properly."
Yeah, got to take out all that bullshit about the Greek gods. We're just going to put in Santa Claus, because you can't fuck up Santa films, can you? Oh, well, no. We're doing an Arnie's podcast. We know for a fact you can fuck up a Santa film.
I stand by Jingle All the Way. I think it's a tremendous film.
You must be the only one.
I'm looking forward to rewatching it and reevaluating it.
Yeah, that's fair, actually.
But I seem to remember it being very good.
When I was a kid, I always used to get it mixed up with Last Action Hero. And I used to think like Last Action Hero was the one where he was looking for a toy at the same time as being from a film. And I think I was really confused for a long time when I was a kid.
That in itself would make a good movie.
I was like, that doesn't sound like the plot.
I used to get Terminator and Junior confused. That was. I mean, they're very similar.
Yeah, Danny DeVito and the main character from Terminator, what was it, Kyle Reese? Yeah. They do look so similar. You're right.
Oh, imagine if Danny DeVito played Kyle Reese.
Just this little troll man. Trying to save it.
Oh, I can't wait to watch Twins.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
I'm looking forward to it. I genuinely am. They're talking about doing triplets. They're doing a sequel to it. They're talking about it. Danny DeVito was saying on an interview recently, he was saying that he's had a conversation with Arnie and a few producers about doing a sequel to it called Triplets, where it was going to be because all of their DNA was kind of mushed together in the story. This isn't relevant now, but it's exciting me because like they're doing they're basically moving reboots towards Arnie films, which means we could get like, I don't know, like Primary School Cop or like. Well, we are getting 1,000 Terminator films, but I don't know. You could see reboots of those.
What about one to match his new age? The Strolling Man, maybe instead of the Running Man. No.
Yeah.
Partial Recall.
Yeah. Partial Recall.
That's a good one.
I'm not going to say anything more bad about Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love the guy. The more I see of him, the more I love him.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to seeing Conan the Octogenarian as well. That's going to be a good one.
What is the meaning of life?
Crom.
To drive whilst I'm still not capable and have very bad eyesight. see the lamentations of the pedestrians.
To get up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
To see your enemies driven before you in a mobility scooter.
Alright, that's the winner. Where are we? We were just talking about other films, weren't we?
That win.
Again.
I think we're now into the paper mill, where they've chased into the paper mill. The final fight, and Hercules still does not have his strength.
Yeah.
And he's being held over a balcony by two guys.
Oh, in an example of, and I was wrong with it in the last podcast, an example of the third and final change of camera angle in the entire film. Because it goes above his head. So, there is that. That makes it worth it.
Yeah, they really pulled their finger out.
I didn't know it was a paper mill until you told me. I didn't know what the fuck it was. Well, I was watching.
Yeah, I didn't really know what it was supposed to be.
I was watching it with Emma, and she was like, "What the fuck are these tubes of things?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like, why would I know? Like, I know as much as you."
Yeah, it wasn't. Again, it might have been another place where it just went, "Can we film here, please?" Says sure. Just don't drive any cars through it.
Just don't push anything over.
Yeah, just don't trash the place. Yeah, that's fine.
They probably just broke in. They went in on a Sunday or something and just trashed the place.
Well, the thing is, all of the scenes in the corridor, it doesn't really look like a frequently used building, shall we say? Like all the corridor scenes, the door scenes. It doesn't look like a building that is like, let's say, like getting a lot of traffic. So maybe they just went to a derelict brownfield site, like somewhere in Harlem, and just went, "This'll do. We'll film here. It's fine."
That's probably it, yeah.
I think pretty much that.
But yeah, I think it's quite. The fight scene goes, it was quite good. Like he blocked the door and like tried to stop him getting to his friends. That's quite heroic, and you know.
Yeah, he was doing all right considering he didn't have his legendary strength. Someone says something. They say something like, "Oh, he's helpless as a child without his strength." I just thought, no, he isn't. He's fucking massive.
Yeah, was that not Mercury?
He's definitely not as helpless as a child.
Even if he was unconscious and you were just trying to throw him, you'd still need help. He's as helpless as a child.
Exceptionally, like a 350-pound child.
Yeah, he's as helpless as Monstro.
We gotta help once he's getting beaten the fuck, like because he starts getting beaten the fuck, like they just start hiding. They don't give a piss of shit. They don't care. They're hiding around tubes. I'm swearing a lot now, but I just think this whole scene deserves it because they just go and hide. Pretzy goes and hides immediately. Like he's done with the whole thing. Yeah, remember what I told you, which is I'm gonna run.
Just keep fighting those guys.
But then it cuts back to Mercury, or rather the guy from the All American Rejects, and he's up in in Olympus, or rather he's like the place with all the car horns, it's fucking traffic central, and he's just he's the one who says
all those barking dogs.
He's the one that says to Zeus like he's as helpless as a child, and Zeus is like, but then Zeus is suddenly like. After spending the entire goddamn film, by the way, just fucking ragging on him, just being like the absolute worst dad, like just causing problems, giving him strife, is just suddenly like, nah, you're right, we'll give him some help. Like at the end, but before that, they have a whole. It's about 5-10 minutes long, which doesn't really make the action scene seem actiony when there's a 10-minute bit of dialogue in Olympus, because that'll make you want to kill yourself. Never mind sit there and watch someone potentially die in a fight scene. But it cuts that, and Mercury's like, we need to send him help. And then I think Hercules' mother, or someone, not his mother, like says, you could send Samson and Atlas, and they could help. And he's like, okay, I'll do that then. Cut to 10 seconds later, and two bodybuilders come out of nowhere in the newspaper factory and just start beating up gangsters. It's fabulous. It's just like, there you go. There's a gangster. There's a Samson.
Yeah,
there's another
good.
bodybuilder. Like Mercury's just got this ability.
I thought Samson was a biblical character anyway. It's nothing to do with Greek mythology.
I think you're right.
Is that right? Yeah. I don't know. I should have looked into that.
He's neither Roman nor Greek.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
Nemesis? I know what the word means. I know what, like, I'm not asking that. I mean, like, it's just a woman walking around going, I'm the greatest weapon that Zeus has. So what does she do? Like, where is she in the Greek mythology? They don't have a fucking clue.
Yeah.
Bit rusty on the old Greek mythology.
Just as an aside, do I need to stop swearing now? Like, I feel like I swear quite a lot there.
Don't worry about it, mate. Just feel very passionate about Hercules in New York.
Yeah, I know. I figured we did. I just suddenly caught myself doing it when I was like, "The fuck is this?" I just think that scene also made me laugh out loud because he went, "I'm gonna send some guys down." Next scene, guys are there, just appear out of nowhere.
Yeah, There's just no entrance at all. They're just there throwing lads around, like throwing the gangsters around.
Which, maybe they were just out of shot the whole time, the entire film, just watching, and then they were just waiting for Mercury to send a note and go like, "You can go now and fight." Like the whole film just stood slightly off camera.
Amazing.
There are some interesting fighting techniques used by the gangsters in this, and it's one of the main gangster has an interesting one where he goes up in a cherry picker and just stands up in a cherry picker until Atlas comes up, grabs him, and then just throws him off it.
Yeah. Forgot about that. Why even we have one? The tubs of paper are too big. It's just there.
Oh, and I think that's a fitting end scene for Hercules, or an end of a fight scene. It's just to have random things in random places being used by random people for random reasons. Just because it's our film and we wanted to make a silly film, and it's silly, so enjoy our silly film or don't.
I wish they'd had the forklift truck in.
Where did the budget go? It actually went on HGVs. That's where most of the budget went. Cherry pickers and forklifts.
I reckon they could have chucked that fella off the top of the cherry picker, and then Arnie should have come past driving the forklift truck, scoop him up, taking out the trash.
And it
just dump him outside or something.
It just becomes, yeah.
I'd love to see that forklift again. That was great.
Yeah, and it just becomes like some kind of blatant advertisement for cat.
It's a fine chariot.
They sponsored the whole film.
This is interesting. Now we're getting close to the end of the film. At what point do you think they kind of filmed all these things on? Because they obviously ran out of money in a lot of places. Is this one of the scenes that you think? This one was done with. I know a friend who's got a paper mill warehouse with a cherry picker in it or a scissor lift in it. Do you want to go to the? Do you want to go down there and film?
This was a scene where the writer literally wrote setting brackets TBD close brackets and then just left it.
Whatever we could afford.
And the director just did a whip round of all of the extras. Just went, someone. You gotta know someone.
I like thinking that whenever they were driving down the streets, whenever they went to film this scene, Arnie's doing the chasing and he's in his vest and he's in his shorts and they're saying, "Get in here, get in here." Also, they're following the direction of the only person in the group that doesn't know anywhere in New York, but they're but he's but I like to think of him walking around just checking doors to see if they're open. It's going, this one, and everybody just rushes in, starts filming.
That's a good point.
That's shot on the staircase where they're holding him back. That wasn't actually actors. That was the people who held the keys to the place. The
security guards.
Yeah, get out.
And the director's like, "Film this. This is gold.
Keep rolling."
The director's up on those paper things as well, just getting a lot of shots. Yeah, just shush. Bang.
The director was the one on the cherry picker, just getting thrown off by Atlas. He's had to shout and go "I'm not in the scene."
I'm just trying to do my job. My spine. Yeah.
Anyway, he gets his strength back at the end, right?
Yeah, he gets his strength back and he murders everyone or crushes them.
Gets
or
his
whatever.
strength back, and so now we've come to the redemption of Hercules. He's up. I guess that's supposed to be the Empire State Building, although I imagine that it could be any building in New York skyline.
Oh wait, I didn't want to rush away from it. Just very quickly, can we talk about the fact that when he does get his strength back and pushes down the clearly empty tubes, one of the extras was clearly told, because they must have done it a few times, that he had to pull it down on top of him. So if you look at the bottom right of that scene when it happens, because they wanted to make this scene of it tumbling, but Arnie couldn't make them tumble because of the sheer width of them, that one of the extras actually pulls it onto himself in a great little bit of you just look at it and you go, Is he? Yeah,
Yeah.
it is just brilliant because they clearly went. This is the angle we're doing it in.
That's
Even
good.
if it looks stupid,
It's the work
we're
of a
doing
true
it this angle.
professional.
So just pull it on you.
Just getting the scene done,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
clearly put a lot of effort into it. Like,
whether it looks good or not.
but yeah,
Real.
so then he crushes and kills all the people.
I don't get it. I mean, don't those gangsters have guns? They're not very. Those gangsters, instead of like trying to get into a fist fight with Arnie, surely they
I
just
don't
pull out
think
a
they
gun
were
and shoot him.
gangsters.
Yeah.
This strikes me as like these guys
Nah.
don't really.
They're
seem
long
like
shot
proper
plungers is what they
gangsters
are.
to me. Like they've had like 2 scenes.
A bunch of long shot plungers.
Yeah. Is that gambling vernacular? I don't understand. I don't get it.
Oh,
Gary,
that's
what's
what
a
they say.
steak?
what's a st-
I don't.
You know, it's like a pork chop, except you get it from a cow.
There
There you go.
It's a thing that you kill vampires with. Yeah, they've only had 2 scenes. One where they had to strong arm the most pathetic looking man that's ever existed and nearly failed to do so. And then another one where they've been told by a guy in a black suit to bet against Hercules, and they take his money. I don't like. It's
What
like
could he
they don't really do
know?
gangster
I'll
things.
see you soon.
Yeah, they're just doing incompetent.
I loved Hades in that scene. Pluto, whatever he's fucking called. I don't know. See you soon. Be sure of that.
Yeah,
He is
Pluto.
Hades. Come on, like it's.
He was a good character.
He was very.
He was a
good.
great character.
Very good.
Fucking loved him.
It should have been
Maybe I watched
Pluto
more
in
of
New
him, innit?
York rather than Hercules. Like the whole film.
Well, hey, spoilers.
Hey, you
we
never
might
know.
actually see that film because there's, the
Oh,
sequel.
yeah. It is left
the
open.
extended universe.
I'm surprised no one's made a sequel.
Is that Hercules in Newcastle?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? End of Days isn't a million miles away from Pluto being in New York, is it? You know, the devil. Walking
Yeah,
about?
maybe. I watched End of Days, just as a side point. I watched End of Days when I was about 10 or 11 years old, and the scene where we can go talk about it when we get to it, but that film stuck with me for a long time for a lot of wrong reasons. At like 10 or 11 years old, I think I picked it up my mum and dad's VHS catalogue and just went, "Oh, watch this. It has Arnie in it. I like Arnie." And then it wasn't a good film for a 10-year-old to watch.
I don't remember. I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
There's a particular scene that sticks with me, and I'm pretty sure it's where he gets possessed by a demon and tries to rape a woman, and that's in
Jesus
there.
Christ.
That's in there. Yeah,
Don't remember that.
it's pretty graphic.
I thought you were talking about the one that stayed with you, him putting a slice of pizza into a blender and drinking it. That's the one that stuck with me. I can't really remember the rest of the film.
Was that film?
Yeah. He's a messed up guy.
How has that stuck with you? And I'm talking about a graphic scene, and you're just like, yeah, he also puts a pizza in a blender. Like, where is your moral compass?
Well, I'm looking forward to rewatching that one.
Oh, it's
Definitely.
a great film.
It's great.
Looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Pretzy, which you mentioned this in the very first podcast, Rob. Pretzy's annoyed that you have to put money into a viewfinder.
Oh,
Just disses it off.
Yeah.
And then just Hercules walks away from him.
Unnecessary.
No goodbyes.
No, just Hercules not give him a dime.
I
Despite
am
the fact that he got
Hercules.
paid.
I have no money.
Yeah. But like he has, does he not have? Oh, does he? Oh, he says that, doesn't he? Yeah. The motherfucker's got 10 grand, like however much money, like for like conceding his management of a man who he never agreed to be managed by him.
Shit, yeah, that's right.
Like put a dime in the goddamn binoculars, you cheapskate.
He has neither bucks nor
You
dough.
went to the top of the Empire State Building. You have to pay to get in the building. They won't let you in for free.
He probably made Herc pay, didn't he?
I do not understand. What is this?
I don't have any money. Just tries to push the building over.
They're like, we're gonna have to let this mentally unhinged man in, otherwise he's gonna start hurting us.
This guy doesn't have any money. And then 6 people run at him and fight
Yeah,
him. He
wise
beats him.
guy.
Yeah, wise guy. He ain't got no bread, see?
That's the idea, Mac.
All the New Yorkers just look at him and go, "You haven't got any money. You just got to fight him." Fuck you, dude.
But yeah, it's pretty cold-blooded. Hercules just disappears. Pretzy turns around and his buddy's not there.
It's actually much more heartbreaking than that. It's a lot. He is sat there with Pretzy. They're having what Pretzy thinks is a good time, and he tries to put money in and goes, "I'm not paying a dime for that." And Herc just looks at him. Then he turns around and walks a little bit away, and then he says to Zeus, "I'm done now."
Yeah.
And Zeus takes him back, and he basically was just there on like a bad date, and ran out on it.
Poor old Pretzy.
Because he
is quite
says,
sad.
I promise, to Zeus as well, like, he says, "I promise I'll never be, like, reckless again. I've done everything I want to do now. Can you please take me home?" Literally begging his ex to take him back on a date with his new best friend.
That's a climbing out of the toilet window move.
It's going on a Tinder and starting to swipe left while on the date.
Do you think he saw how cheap Pretzy was with the binoculars there, and he just thought, well, this guy isn't going to buy me dinner. Might as well go back.
I'm not putting out for this douchebag.
Maybe in Pretzy's head, that's what's happened. That's why Hercules walked off, and he's gone, "Damn, why am I so cheap?
Yeah, maybe.
Why am I so cheap? Everyone just leaves."
If you play it like this in your head, by the way, like this is what actually happened, like in your own personal headcanon, then when he gets the rambling voicemail message from his ex when he gets home on the radio, it makes it seem a lot more like, yeah, I just had some stuff I need to do, and it's really hectic right now, so it does make it seem a lot more...
Hey, it's not you, Pretzy, it's me. You did nothing wrong. You're a sweet guy, and you deserve better than me. Yeah.
You deserve a real god, not a demigod.
His whole message at the end was just stunk of yeah, I'm dumping you on the radio.
On the radio, is
he
that?
Said,
yeah, so we should say he goes home afterwards and he's like, "What am I gonna do? I've got no friends. Nobody likes me. My ears and eyes are weirdly shaped around. Why does everyone hate me? Why has no one ever loved me?"
What about this for a being cast aside line? When he's listened, he says, "We really did those things, Hike, didn't we? You're coming back, ain't you, Hike?" And this is the line: "Anytime you wish me to be with you, all you need to do is think of us, and there I shall be, in your mind and in your heart, for as long as you want me to be, as long as you need me."
Somehow that's enough for Pretzy, isn't it?
It's not you, it's me.
He's like,
it's probably the best offer he's ever gotten.
"We're going to meet up again, are we? Yeah, sure. Just all you got to do is think of me, you know."
Yeah, I'll be right there.
Physically,
he's like, "Yeah, okay, that's great. Yeah."
I want to just clarify before we leave this message, because I don't think you're actually understanding it, Pretzy, because you seem really like to not get it. I'm not going to be physically there. Like, you understand that, right? Yeah. I'll be there in your heart, but I will never be physically there ever again.
I'm neither going to be there
thing,
for
Herc.
you.
See you tomorrow. No, I don't think you're...
I think I'll eat an apple.
If only I had some apples.
Isn't that what he says?
Oh yeah, he does. He's going to eat an apple, but he doesn't even have any apples.
I'm going to eat an apple.
He has no food in his fridge. He's no apples. All he's got is a radio, an empty apartment, and a wedding ring, and a wife he's
Poor
never
guy.
met.
That is true. Yeah. I was going to say you spotted this, didn't you? We failed to spot it, but he's married.
It's tragic.
We shouldn't be going on homosexual dates to the Empire State Building with men he's just met.
And not paying.
Yeah, especially not paying. The fucking cheapskate.
His wife left.
When you look
him
like that,
because
you've
of
got to pay to get any. Like that.
You're not giving a lot of hope towards our less endowed with beauty listeners. People like me.
Our less genetically successful listeners.
Success.
Because let's be real, when the genetic sweepstake that is life was doled out, he definitely was not successful in that little tryst with fate.
What you're going to find surprising about this, listeners, is that Rob looks almost exactly like Pretzy. Almost exactly, like the same shape of face. But he spends a little more money.
I at least understood at an early age that if you're not spending money, you're definitely not going to get anyone to stick around. This is just why I'm so angry.
Stick around.
I have 10 grand, I'll buy your dinner, I swear.
There's only one. There's only one bit left in this film, and I think this is one of the bits that you really like, Steve, and it's to do with Zeus.
The end. I like the end of this. I like the way it's left open. It's cleverly done, and I'm amazed that no one has picked this up and run with it. When was this film made? Like 1969?
Yeah, I like the way he just went, I like the end of this film.
Yeah.
It's great. Like, mean it as well.
Well, it means it's over, for one thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ends. What is it? Zeus sort of tells everyone to bugger off for a bit, and he decides to go down to New York himself after listening to Hercules' account of his time on Earth.
Fitting to the Zeus of like Greek mythology. Like he's suddenly been like,
get down.
Hang on, someone's causing mayhem. I'm gonna get down there, turn into a swan, start causing some mad shit to happen.
I want to get in on that.
He goes down on an umbrella though, which I thought was quite Mary Poppins of him.
But is it the same aeroplane, the same woman screeching out the window who saw Herc?
Yeah, so this was the plane that was flying in circles over.
It's been up there a while.
Potomac River in Die Hard 2. So it's just been up there first. It's actually where Hercules and Die Hard 2 intermingle.
We got.
What's going to happen when this plane runs out of fuel? I don't know. Is that a Greek god out the window?
They're sitting on the other side of the plane this time. I like to think that was the two of them went, well, last time I was on that side of the plane, a Greek fell down inside. So we're going to sit on the other side this time to get an unnaked Greek view out the window. For fuck's sake, look at that.
At least he's not naked. He is dressed.
Do you reckon it was the final straw for that woman, though? That she was, like, her sanity was hanging by a thread after she saw Arnie out the window. And then she saw Zeus, and that was it for her.
Yeah, I think she's feeling really lucky at the moment. Like it's raining men for this old lady, it's a rain. And she just wants that window open so she can lean out and go, "Hey, gorgeous, where you landing? Where you landing? Wait for me, gorgeous, I'll be right down there." And then she's going to hook up with him and be surprised.
That's really good.
Scarily good.
Yeah, man.
She's going to be very surprised.
You've got a niche.
Arnold Schwarzenegger never mentions Hercules in New York.
Hercules in New York. I know. I found that.
Yeah, it's unusual, isn't it?
It's kind of weird because whenever he was a kid in Austria, he was reading all these magazines, all these weightlifting, bodybuilding magazines about a guy called Reg. What was his name? Reg Dwight or something like that? Reg Park, I think. Yeah, a guy from Leeds, and he went on to win Mr. Olympia, and he was Arnold Schwarzenegger's role model, his idol, and he went on to star as Hercules in Italian films and TV shows. And Arnold Schwarzenegger said, "That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be Hercules on the movies." And he never mentions this film. He never mentions it. You never hear him say a word about this film at all.
It's almost as if he's embarrassed about it.
I can't understand why. Because this is a magnificent piece of... Okay.
I've come to the conclusion after 3 hours of talking about it that actually I genuinely do quite like this film. Like, I'm completely 180 while we've been talking about it. Like, at the start of it, I was like, no, it's a bad film. It's more bad than it is. Like, it's not... like at the start of it, I remember distinctly saying... It treads the line of being so bad it's good that actually it's just bad in that typical film critic cliche. But the more I've laughed about it, the more I've thought, nah, it's just genuinely a funny film.
It does have some genuinely funny moments in it.
Yeah, it makes you just sit there, even just when you sit there and go, why? As a question. Like, that's still an emotional response that a film's made you do. Instead of going like, confusion is also an emotion, is the point I'm trying to get across. And if the film conveys emotion, then it's done its job.
Yeah, it's stuff like the bear costume guy, and you're like, why did they do this? Why do they think this is fooling anyone? You know, or the fella who jumps on the car from the top of the hill or whatever, and you're like,
he's like, why are they going around in circles?
No one's going to believe this.
You've got to unpick it. It's totally a film that, and especially in the modern day, the number of films I watch now where I'm like, it takes me like, maybe it's just because I've got ADHD, but I watch 20 minutes of a film and I'm like, nah, it's not got me. And then I'll watch the rest of the film behind my phone, like, while I'm just doing other things. Like, this is a film you could do that with easily and just sit there and talk with your wife, your partner, whoever, and just go, what the fuck's going on here? What have I missed? And like, that's fine.
Look what's happening now. I think Steve came up with a sentence that summed it up perfectly in the last episode. He said, "It is what it was designed to be." It was supposed to be silly. It was not meant to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
It's just what these guys wanted to do. And fair play to you. You can't criticise a guy for that.
We've almost done a Jerry Springer final thought there.
But also, I don't think this is the worst Arnold Schwarzenegger film that I've even watched recently. I've watched much more serious films that were had mixed critical responses, but Hercules didn't have mixed critical responses. Everyone thought it was horrible.
Yeah, that's a fair point. This film, do you think this film genuinely was an inspiration for the Hercules animated film? Because Pretzy is just the DeVito character in the Hercules animated film. And then, like,
Danny DeVito was in that as well, I think, wasn't
he?
He
is.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, have we, like, knuckled into, like, maybe a small little niche side character that exists in Arnie films of, like, the feckless weirdo that hangs out with him? Like, there seems to be so many of them. And, like, you've got Pretzy, there's the DeVito era where he was doing loads of comedy films with him. There is quite a few where it's like, there's always like these little weird underhand characters that hang out with the big hulking guy. Conan will have one.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't watched Conan in a while.
He's got Subotai.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, like,
but he's cool. He's cool, isn't he? From what I remember, I don't know.
But he's still a sidekick. I think an Arnie film needs to have a sidekick. Yeah, the quality of sidekick in this film is shockingly shite. Like, Pretzy is a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit.
I can't believe that you feel this way about
in the words of Malcolm Tucker, I wouldn't piss on him if he was allergic to piss.
Jesus.
Oh,
nah, he's
you haven't given that guy an easy ride over these 3 podcasts.
Well, I'm curious in what else
Why do you
he's
hate
been
him
in.
so much? So much hate.
It started when I just thought he was a weirdo that I could easily just, like, take the mick out of because he looked so weird and his initial scene was weird. But then you all started saying that I hated him, so I just had to lean into it because I ain't backing down. Like, I'm just not.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
I've decided now that, in fact, actually, I really, really hope he died in pain. No.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Fine, I take that back. That's too far.
My God.
Oh my God.
No, it's too far. It's too far. It's yeah. Maybe it's not too far. Maybe I'm totally stand behind it. I don't know. I don't know what I think.
Well, we'll see if it stays in or not, and then
don't edit anything I've said.
That'll
I fucking hate that kid.
show how good or bad it is.
How many peck pops out of 5 would you give it?
Peck pops out of 5.
That's a hard one. I think I'm going to give it a 2.
And when it's happening, it needs to be edited in with the little, like, boom, 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 boom noise.
The
That
bongos?
the peck pop.
Oh yeah, I said 2, but I forgot about the bongo, so I'm moving it up to 3 out of 5. 3 peck pops.
Yeah,
I'm going 2. I'm going to
go 2 as well. I think. Yeah. I think as much as I still think it was a good film, I think looking at the quality of the films to come, I think if we give this a 3 now, or because I was thinking 3 maybe. I'm not saying you're wrong, Gary, but you're wrong. But if we gave this a 3 now and then we get to a genuine 3, like Kindergarten Cop, or because that's genuinely like down the middle, isn't it?
Oh,
like,
I give it.
I don't know. I'm going to have to go 2.
Yeah,
I'm going to go 2 maximum.
Well, this is the difference between you and me, because
1.
you actually like Arnold Schwarzenegger, whereas what we've learned from the last 3 hours is that I don't like anyone.
Hello, this is the end now. It just remains for me to thank you on behalf of myself, Steve and Rob, for listening, and we hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as we enjoyed recording it. There are plenty more episodes on the way, and if you would like to hear more, subscribe to the Book of Genesis channel on YouTube and hit that notification bell. You can also follow us on the Book of Genesis Facebook page. Music from these episodes are used under license from Filmora Wondershare. Thanks once again for listening, and have a good evening.
Hey, mister, watch your talk.
I can hear my dog. I cannot watch it.
You're not going to be hearing it much longer if you don't apologize to Miss Camden right now.
Apologize for paying her a tribute?
Allow me to break the ice.
New request. I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
Crown laps with your 4 wins.
Enough talk.
Don't bullshit me.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Crush your enemies. See them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of their women.